And I just found out that there was no audio for that, so it's no surprise to me that that has happened. So let's bring in the rest of the panel. Welcome to New Comic Book Wednesday. It is the 57th episode. Yes, we did wind up changing graphics, and we got a whole bunch of books today. So let's bring in, starting off with Lady Fantastic.
How's it going? Thank you, everybody, for coming out and joining us and watching us look at books like little children, because it's what helps us get through the day. Yeah.
And sometimes it requires a lot in order to get through the day, and today it required a stack about this big.
Hold on, let me show you. Hold on.
How bad is this going to be? Okay, that's accurate. It was a big day today.
But hold on. Let me show you all the ones that are actually new comic books that got released. So the rest was like diving. I was diving around. I went.
So how many boxes did you get through today?
How many boxes? I mean,
did you go back issue digging?
Yeah, I went back issue digging, but I mean, so the place where I went digging, they have it in not boxes, but they have it in these like shelf things. I mean, under it, they have boxes, but I was looking in the top, like through the shelves, burrowing through the sections.
Well, it's all good and fun here. So let's see who else might have gotten some books today. How about Mind Shift?
What's up, you guys? I did get books. Not as much books as you guys, though, but I did get books. I got a nice little hefty little stack.
Yeah. If I wouldn't have got any new books, like you would have, you know.
Yeah. I wish I can go into my shop and dive, but unfortunately my shop is still only curbside pickup. It was funny because they made an announcement on IG, and everybody had thought it was like, oh, they're going to open it up. They're going to open up. And it's like, you guys probably thought we were going to announce about opening up. That's not the case. I'm like, oh no. It was a hilarious build-up, but still, I was kind of like, oh. But it was still good news. They're extending their store, so they bought the place next door, so now they get to extend their place. So that's good.
And there's one more person I think we might be forgetting, but let's try and not have him drop out like I just dropped out a moment ago. Let's bring in.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Rob, Lady Fantastic, Kirk, how you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, dude. Can't complain.
Finishing off the series, so I'm in a good mood tonight.
That's good, man. You know, New Comic Book Day, the best day of the week. Who cares about Fridays or Saturdays? And, you know, I know Sunday's supposed to be a day for rest, but let's be honest, we're all waiting for Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're going digging for comic books on a Sunday.
Well, that's probably what I do on my Sundays. Nope, no problem about it. That's definitely what I do on my Sundays.
As a matter of fact, I do happen to hunt for comics on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I'm at the Church of Long Boxes on those days, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a man without faith. It's just my faith comes in about 32 pages.
Sounds about appropriately enough.
So what's up? We got some comics tonight. Who's gonna show some books? What do we got going on?
We have a crap ton of books that wound up coming out tonight, and we're just going to let the audience know straight off, we're not going to show anything that bears a little too much skin because we don't want to get yanked off again. So we're a TVMA sort of broadcast, so we're going to be showing regular books that come out every single Wednesday, but don't let it fool you. We'll kind of drop the word fuck.
I say bad words too. I say bad words too.
Yeah, we're grown-ups. We can say what we want.
Yeah, We wanted to try and make a mainstream show, but that just was out the window from pretty much day one. So let's get into this. It's boring. We're going to start talking about, I don't know, let's see here. Where'd that screen go? Shout outs. Who's now with us in the chat? Let's take a look. We have starting out, Flashpoint joined us early on. Good to see him. Now, it's because of Miracleman that I wound up reading the new Death Metal, and oh boy, we do have a review coming about Death Metal and The Flash. So we also have Ace Magee along with Legato Blue. That's a new name. Good to see you. William Smallwood, I have to get you my new list. Life with Two YouTubers. Everyone check out her show on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Isle of series. Always fun. Also, while you're at it, if you want to know what goes on during the course of any single day, you can always check out a guy by the name of Discovery Bay Comics. Discovery Bay Comics winds up showing usually every day about 12:35 p.m. weekdays, and he'll let you know what's going on. Streaming videos, best of videos for the pop community as well as the comic book community. Let's see, who else do we have here? All right, we have Miracleman joining us. We have Comics at Law, who will be joining us later on in the broadcast. Mark the Cuddy Sark, my man, hi. Let's see. Comics on the Mind, because if you're here, you know you have it.
Poke.
So yes, we did resolve that issue from the beginning here, because as I was trying to put everything together really quickly, because we were all shooting the shit for about a good 20 minutes before broadcast. And of course, the one thing I need to do, and it's on me to do it, is to make goddamn sure that I press audio selected. Well, you live, you learn, and episode 57 will go down in the history books as not having that. And I'm okay with that. Life with Two YouTubers says, yeah, that's a fat stack. We're going to be getting to that in just a moment. Mark Whipple, good to see you joining. Yeah, little children cannot afford comics these days. I understand that. I dropped more than I care to admit. Jim O'Reilly, hello, everyone. C. Woodard. Let's see, who else? Read more comics. Hey. And we even got the captain in the house. Happy birthday, Mindshift. Y'all say fucking bad words? Fuck y'all, bitch.
Fucking A right, Ace.
All right, and it looks like we are finally caught up. So that leads to our next portion of the show. Well, it's not going to be that. It's going to be, there we go, the comic book hunt. So, I don't know. What did everybody wind up picking up today? And, eeny meeny, I don't know who we should wind up going to. We should probably go this way.
All
Miracle
right.
Man.
All right. I saw the fingers. All right. I just want to say thank you for those fingers and not the other fingers. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. So, I got a couple of new books, and I just want to say, I know the owner of my LCS, he occasionally hops on. He's a fantastic guy. He takes really good care of me. But I got a fat stack of books that I got to pick up from the shop yet. So I will endeavor to do my best to get those picked up, because lolly, he ordered a bunch of books for me. A whole lot of them finally started coming in. And I'm gonna have to get those. First of all, I got a book that I can't show you, so we're just gonna put that right up top there. Don't buy Boundless comics, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you buy them, don't show them on YouTube. They'll kick you off. First up, Maestro #2 here. And if you bought comics today, you saw everybody got the entire. Marvel line of books had the trade dress for the Chadwick Boseman. As we all know, very tragic. But it's nice to see that they are honored. Somebody who was so instrumental to them. Just come on, what he did with Black Panther. Who the hell cared about Black Panther before Chadwick Boseman played him? But there you go. My show number 2.
I did.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I did too. It was the Kirby books are just they're freaking crazy ass Kirby books. But
Boseman brought it to an international thing.
Right, exactly. Comic nerds loved them, but everybody else. So Maestro, anyway, that was really good. Immortal She-Hulk, man, I'll tell you what, that might have been. It's tied for my best read of the week. Tied. And the only reason it's tied is because this came out this week. Listen, I'll tell you right now, if you've ever enjoyed any speedster that has ever existed in the history of DC Comics, you will dig this book, man. It hit every single note, everything I've ever loved about the Flash family, whether it's Wally, Barry, Jay, or Wally 2, or hell, even Bart or Jesse Quick, or Johnny Quick, I should say. It was in here, man. You even get Max Mercury back in this book. So freaking good. I'm not ruining anything because it's death metal, and you knew everybody was going to show up. So don't if you're going to write right, and if you're going to write hate mail, remember it's to Rob Worst, Worst. Your show, bro. So next up. Next up, Shazam number 15, final issue of the run, not written by Johns, written by Loveness. This I don't even know why they made this book. The story was completely disconnected from everything. You know what it felt like? What it felt like to me was reading this story was they were like, this is a really inspirational story. Let's find some place to stick it into a book, and they just did it. They just stuck it in this book.
And that's how they end the entire book.
That's how they end the series.
I was bagging and boarding it when I went, what the shit, man? Where's Jeff Johns? If they're ending the book, why isn't he ending it? Are they going to go, we don't care about 2 years from now?
Yeah. Last issue, issue 14, that's the last issue of the series. This is a one-shot that instead of doing it as a one-shot, they did it as issue 15. That's the way to look at it. That's the way to look at it. It wasn't bad. It just had nothing to do with the rest of the story. Hey, dude, terrific, better. How you doing? Also wanted to give a shout out to Ace. Nice to see you there, Ace. Flashpoint, good to see you. Everybody, again, thanks for being here. Undiscovered Country 8. Man, this book is fucking weird, bro. All right? Listen, this book's fucking weird. And I've read some weird fucking shit in my life, but this fucking book is fucking weird.
Yeah. By
the way, Not Near Min is a show designed for audiences over the age of 18. Now, believe it or not, I said Immortal She-Hulk and Death Metal were the tied for the top book, and Suicide Squad 9 came out this week. Can you believe it? And that was not top book. It was great. It was a great book. Tom Taylor could write anything. I'd read that. Some bitch could write the instructions on a can of corn. And I would read it. I would buy it. I would collect it. I would bag and board it. Because I'll tell you what, man, I love his writing. But this was a great story. I really loved it. Gave you some great points between Harley and Deadshot. They've been doing this since pre-New 52. They've been in the Suicide Squad together, and it's been a long time. It's been a long time. 10 years in our time. It's like 9 months in comic book time. But either way, Flash 762. That is just a gorgeous cover. It uses that white space so nicely.
I could not tell the difference between the variant and this cover because they both look like variants.
Right, they do both look like variants. I love this one. I just went with this one. Action Comics 1025. I haven't been buying Action Comics, but I saw this one in the previews a couple of months back there, and I saw we got that Superman obviously there. That's Supergirl clearly. Obviously you're going to have John Kent. That's probably this guy right here. And I thought, that one right there. That's Connor Kent. That's Superboy. That's pre-Flash. And sure enough, he is. He's part of the House of Kent. They're the super family. He appears in the book. It's awesome. I really loved it. And then my last new book that I can, show on the public internet waves. New book. I got some old ones. I got some old good ones too. I'll go through those quick because I have a tendency to pontificate. Savage Dragon number 252. Savage Dragon. This issue is a total standalone issue. It does. It's a salutes the funnies issue, which means So you can obviously this is Blondie right here, but there's a Family Circus spoof. There's a Doonesbury one. There's a Popeye one. They're all independent stories. They have some of them riff on current events. Some whatever. It's good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I will say this: get issue 253, everybody. Trust me. Get issue 253. It's got Kamala and Joe Biden on it. Even if you don't like Kamala and Joe Biden, the Obama issue is a big time collectible issue in the Savage Dragon. Yeah. Big time collectible issue. There's like 4 printings of it too. So even if you hate it, even if you hate those people, I'm not getting political. Buy it because it's going to be a spec book. I promise. All right. Now y'all want to see the older books?
Oh yeah.
All right. So, I last week I think I showed off. Oh no, I didn't. Hold on a second. I've been trying to get all the Superman 75 printings, and over the weekend I came across a number 3. It's the direct. It's not the newsstand, but I was still happy to find it. $1 pickup, and then this one right here. That's a second printing. Again, only $1. Rob, you remember how many people were going to put their kids through college with like 5 copies of that? That's some sad ass.
My neighbors, they went, "Hey Rob, can you go get me a couple copies? Here's $20." And it's not like I had a cell phone back in 1992 to go. Right. Yeah, that's not nearly enough just for 1 copy.
Oh, the good old days. And then as I was digging through, I had a really good run at a flea market this weekend, guys. Don't worry, I socially distanced.
Nice.
Dark Horse Predator books, man. We all know they're heating up.
Yep.
Yeah.
We all know they're heating up. They're good books, and they're never going to get to print them again. As everything is consumed by the black hole that is Disney. Yeah, Ace, isn't that funny as shit? Like, come on, man. Everybody knows Eric Larson is left wing. If you don't like Eric Larson being left wing, fine, don't like it. But you knew he was going to vote Joe Biden. He did vote Obama.
Yeah, I know, right? That's not surprising.
No, it's not.
I'm waiting for the Spider-Man cover with him.
Right, like it's gonna. Come on, guys, it's gonna happen. It's what if you don't like them? Don't care. But the book is gonna be a good spec book. I promise you.
Don't buy it.
So okay, here we go. I found this, and it's a Kickstarter book. I got all 4 issues of it. It's called Jaded. It's from Iron Age. And, all the characters are essentially the characters we know and love from the big 2. Just they're not, because you can't do that with them. But if you notice this MA tag, these are some mature stories, guys. These are superheroes for grown-ups.
Oh.
Yeah.
No
way.
Yeah, grown-ups. Superheroes for grown-ups. Kind of cool.
So what happens? Is it just that they bang, or is it super gory? What makes it for grown?
No, it's very mature. So basically the idea is let's put superheroes in the real world. It's very Watchmen, but let's put superheroes in the real world. It's going to be like The Boys. Superheroes in the real world are going to be dicks.
That's what I figured.
They're just going to be dicks. Jaded is the name of the title there. In the second issue here, you kind of get the Spider-Man type character. He's a teenager. He's happy. He's fun. He's always got a quip. And his villains get together, and I'm going to spoil a little bit. His villains get together and put him in the impossible no-win scenario and make him choose between 2 very important people in his life. So, yeah. It's a little dark. It's a little dark of a series, I'll say that. John Santana. First issue came out in 2011. This issue came out in 2017. So 4 issues in 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Took a minute.
Right, but they're doing their thing, man.
Yeah.
I'll watch out for the 5th one. It was good enough to watch out for the 5th one.
There you go.
Tim Vigil took 25 years to put out 15 issues of Faust?
Faust, yeah. Miracleman, my namesake, came to the U.S. in 1982, 83, 82. 83. Either way, didn't finish until 92. They only did 24 issues, guys. 24 issues in a decade.
And what is it like? What Doomsday Clock has taken for fucking ever?
Well, it took 2 years, but that's not unusual for DC. That happens. Yeah, right, Ace. So next up, we got Guns of the Dragon. This is a Tim Truman story, guys. He wrote it. He drew it. Tim Truman did Scout back in the day. Dude, if somebody came out with a Western book and Tim Truman wasn't doing it, I would ask them why the fuck they threw money away. Westerns. I would buy a Western comic, a modern Western comic from Tim Truman. And I hate Westerns. But he's got a very unique style, and he uses a bunch of characters, Enemy Ace, Biff Bradley, Backlash, a bunch of like second tier, third tier, fourth tier characters. Cool little miniseries.
Kind of reminds me like a cross between Perez and Bolland.
Yeah, accurate. And the interiors are, that's the artist. So, good stuff, man. And then, y'all remember we had David Pepose here a couple of weeks back, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, the OZ finished at like 667%. The guy, he blew it away, man. People are hyped. They're hyped about that book. So don't worry, it's coming.
What's the name of the book again?
The OZ.
This is a book that, with this guy coming on our show a few weeks ago, even I am impressed about this. It's Wizard of Oz, but pretty much like The Wire.
Yeah.
It keeps getting promoted on my IG all the time.
Yeah, man. People are psyched about it. People are excited about it.
So this is a book you should definitely get on. Go to the Kickstarter, check it out.
Oh, yeah.
All the covers are awesome.
This here is the book that he did for Action Lab. It took me forever to realize this, but Action Lab has different imprints, and Danger Zone is the mature readers. Here's his Calvin and Hobbes, if they grew up in Sin City.
Nice.
Spencer and Locke. It legit is like Calvin and Hobbes if he grew up in Sin City. See? There they are as the kids, and then here he is in the adult scenarios. There you go.
This is hilarious.
Dude, it was 4 issues. I'll tell you what, I got it off of eBay because I missed it when it first came out. My buddy had told me about it. He ranted about it. A guy who owns the shop, actually. I could not put this down.
This again?
What's that?
What was the premise of this again? This was Calvin and Hobbes, but told as though by, what was it, Lady Fantastic?
Sin City.
Yeah.
Calvin and Hobbes in Sin City.
Yeah, if they grew up in Sin City. So all the cute things that Calvin and Hobbes did, but, if their life was shitty. And they didn't grow up in an upper middle class suburbanite area. It's a good book, man. I'm already. I had my LCS order me the trade for the second one.
Nice.
Now, that's the last of the Bay books. Here we got a few more flea market books. Archie's Clean Slate, Spire Christian Comics again. I've been trying to put these together. This one's kind of beat, but I didn't realize this. If you look on the back, they show you the books that they have. This is a Christian publisher, so you'll see. There's that Hansel, the girl who loved the swastika, which is fairly well known. Good luck finding it. Here's the one I want. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
That one was actually for a while.
I'll be looking for that one. But then we got a couple of milestone books. Right here we got Blood Syndicate number 25.
It's a great cover.
Very cool cover. Reflector cover. Which one of the guys does the reflection covers?
Steven Spock.
There you go. Blood Syndicate 25. Put it on the list.
All right.
Hardware 24. This one I liked a lot too. Hardware 36. And then I got a couple Hernandez Brothers books, man. Penny Century 1 and 3.
You don't see it.
Do not see him often, man. All came out of the same seller. He had his comics in a fucking plastic tote. The kind what's got the lock and lids.
Yes.
Just up in a tote. I pull these beauties out.
No respect. None at all.
Dark Horse Comics number 3. Another alien cover. Pull that out of there. Look at this.
Ooh,
Last
nice.
issue of Volume 2 of Elementals from Komiko, which will be coming up later tonight. I also got 2 other Icon milestone books. They were Icon, number 22. This one's got a little curl in it, but I can flatten that out. Right there. We'll fix that. And number 24. So just in case anybody didn't know, one of the reasons Icon was such a big deal at the time was that they had the first unwed teen mother pregnancy superhero. That's Rocket. In fact, when they go over into the DC universe, Superboy kind of hits on her, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant. You want to be my baby daddy?" And he's like, Oh. You know what? Actually, I got another Hernandez Brothers book. The last one I needed from the mini, Mechanics, number 3. First of all, if you see a book that says Fantagraphics on it, it's going to be weird. All right? It's going to be weird. So naturally, I look for that and buy them. And I'm never disappointed if I'm looking for something weird. Then we got an Image Zero there. That's from when the company first launched.
Do those actually work for any money now with Spawn on the cover?
I don't think so. I just think they were mass-produced too much. It's a good book. It's a collection of individual stories, so it's not like one. It's not like Image United. Plus, they finished it, so it's definitely not like Image United.
Oh, wow, that's rare.
It was only one issue. From Chaos Comics, one of my favorite 90s publishers, a Wizard Special Edition, the Ash Can of Evil Ernie, Straight to Hell. Just love that Chaos stuff. Brian Pulido. I already had this issue, but I had a different cover. This is a New Dimension Comics and Kennywood and Rivers Comic Con exclusive cover. Robert Hack, Betty and Veronica number 1. This is the Adam Hughes series. I think if you watch the show, you know I'm a fan of the Adam Hughes. And this one, Rob, I grabbed this, another dollar book. I grabbed this, and I was thinking of you because it's Good Girl Art Quarterly from AC Comics with Matt Baker art.
Oh, right.
Now, unfortunately, it's all in black and white, and it's the shittiest photo scans I've ever seen. But
black and white makes it so that you can actually see the inking technique. I like that. I enjoy it.
All right, last couple of books here. Again, came out of the dollar bin. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Volume 1, Issue 39. Yes, it does look like Ren and Stimpy because it is the Ren and Stimpy team. A couple more Savage Dragon books, too. Here's number 22. Here's number 23. Don't kick us off, YouTube. It's just a booty in a comic book. Don't get mad.
There's
going into it.
If you're fighting a superpowered dragon woman in that type of thong, you deserve to win, period. I don't. God should just come down. Right? Just give it to you. Beautiful Hellboy cover there in Savage Dragon 35.
Wow, yeah, it is.
Nice.
There's number 76.
Cool.
And here's one I was really hunting for. Number 148. This is the free FCBD edition. The Golden Age death-defying Daredevil there.
That's part of your package.
Oh, is it really? Oh, great, man. That's cool. Well, it's all right. I'll take another one. If it's the original, this is the FCBD, so that's different. So if it's the actual 148, I'd be very happy to have that.
That's a hard one to find.
It is. This is a sub 5,000 print run book. Actually, I lied. This is a sub 4,000 print run book. This is like $39.60, something under that. Now, I was at a shop I don't normally go to, and I picked up a couple of really cool books. First of all, this was $5. Prince Valiant number 8 from King's Features. Now, I know what you're going to say. That Flash Gordon story down there. Flash Gordon. Yeah, that's why I got her. Not a big Prince Valiant fan, but I don't dislike it. I'm just not a big fan. I also got Flash Gordon 14, which is the third issue in the Charlton run. $5 pickup. Doom Patrol number 98.
Ooh, nice.
First, Mr. 103. This is before he became Mr. 104. Yeah, you and me both, Ace. Now, the last two books here, I spent a little more money on. This one was, I want to say, like $12. Okay, but she's a super pretty copy. Challenges the Unknown number 48.
Yummy.
With an original Doom Patrol crossover. This is actually their first crossover, guys. Starts in this issue, goes into Doom Patrol number 102. So very early in the Doom Patrol appearance. Challenges of the Unknown was actually a big title, so they're trying to help Doom Patrol out by crossing over with them.
Yeah, and back in the day, X-Men was considered the ripoff of Doom Patrol.
Yeah. And last but not least, guys, this one, I was so excited to get my hands on. This one here, really excited. This one here, probably beat it out by a little, but only for a bunch of reasons.
Ooh, let's see.
The last version of Static number 1 I needed, the Platinum Edition.
You found it.
I found it. And they were selling it for $8 American. Look at that. $8.
That's probably what it was worth 5 years ago, but not anymore.
No, I think it's about a $75, $80 book right now, right?
I think some people were trying to get $150 for it at one point.
Yeah, that was slab though, wasn't it?
Unclear.
I think I could slab this, but I mean, how much money am I losing slab? I mean, when I slabbed my Walking Dead 1, that was $65. So, I mean, if I slab this and it's $60 again, I mean, apparently CGC does it based on how much they think you'll be able to sell the book for. So, who knows what the hell they'll charge me on it.
It's a kind of up in the air on this one.
Yeah. So either way, I'm never going to sell it anyway. I'm keeping it. I wanted all of them. I've now got the bagged, the unbagged, the direct edition, the collector's edition, and the platinum edition. So there's like 5 different versions. I got all of them now. So
you've folded it into your collection.
Yep. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. And that is pretty much it right there, guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. This Doom Patrol is cool, right, man? Like, I was like, oh, God, that's so pretty. I had to get it.
Yeah, that's a great cover, dude.
So pretty. Oh, love it.
So few of those, and I love to look at those just on your monitor. I am vicariously living through you right now.
Yeah, I got to finish this Doom Patrol run, man. Someday soon, I'll be able to show you the full run of Doom Patrol. I just have a few more Silver Age appearances to go, and I'm done.
And one of these years, you'll finally see my full run of Green Lantern from 76 all the way till today. But
nice.
For one of these years. Hey, who wants to go next?
I think Mind Shifka should go.
I was thinking that you should go.
Lady Fantastic threw you under the bus, man, Mind Shift.
No. All right. I don't have any old books to show, but I just got all new Comic Book Wednesday books. All right. First up, got some Doctor Doom. Been loving this series. I love that, Kang the Conqueror is constantly coming to visit him and give him, just give him advice because, he eventually leads to him eventually. And I got that She-Hulk, which is awesome.
Were you as shocked as I was that Doctor Doom came out today?
I definitely was shocked because I haven't heard from it for a minute. I've been reading the whole series, so I was like, I wasn't expecting it. It was one book that I didn't think I had to pick up today, but I grabbed it.
Pre-pandemic, I didn't think it was ever going to come out again.
Yeah,
love the cover.
I did too. I love the whole series. There's a variant that came out that the zombie one that looks pretty cool. Then I got that Maestro. Issue number 2. Love the first issue. It's really good, so I can't wait to read that one. I'm also digging Undiscovered Country. I personally have loved the whole series from issue 1 to now. Like every issue ended on a cliffhanger or some kind of crazy twist. So I've been digging it, and last issue was great. So I can't wait to read this tonight. Of course, I got Venom 28. I jumped on at 21. I've been loving it. Pretty good series. Because of you, Miracleman, I grabbed this, and from what everybody keeps on telling me, like, this is really good. Even my buddy just texted me, was like, man, I'm not even a fan of the Flash, but it made me tear up. So I'm like, man, if this is that good, I gotta read it.
It was that good.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. And then of course, I had to get Canto to issue number 2 of the second series. So good. If you haven't read the first series, the trade is out. I have the trade. Man, it's really good. Canto it's a series that I would let my students read. And I also got X of Swords Creation. I thought it would be on my pull, but it wasn't, so I had to buy it when I got to the shop. And then, of course, I had to grab those Alex Ross Timeless covers. Here's the She-Hulk. And then I got the Silver Surfer. Yeah, I know. These are... I'm kind of tempted to get the Namor one too, because I don't have that one and the Captain America one. Although I don't want those two, but I'm just like, now it's like Pokemon. I gotta collect them all.
I am kicking myself that I did not put on my final order cutoff that Silver Surfer.
Honest, can I tell you guys something?
What's up?
While you were showing your book, I just bought that Silver Surfer off eBay. And
no
I just
way.
like while you were talking, I bought that Silver Surfer and Namor Timeless.
You are hilarious.
Worth it. Those Alex Ross covers, it's just like a Pringle. You can't just get one.
Yeah.
Oh, and before the show started, I ordered one more. It's because they didn't have the Timeless She-Hulk, the Immortal She-Hulk. They had one copy left, and it was damaged, and it was like a variant copy, and it was like a little torn on the top a little bit. And it's like, well, fuck. And so I, before the show, I ordered that, and then while you were talking, I ordered friggin' Silver Surfer and Namor.
Wow, that's hilarious. So you have the She-Hulk one already now.
Well, it should be on the way.
Nice.
Now that's
I'm a child.
I'll check my shop.
We're on a show about comic books. We're all children here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Are you done? So I want to show mine fast so we can get this done quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
All right. So I think this is called The Unkindness of Ravens, or An Unkindness of Ravens, right?
Oh.
So number 1, and this just came out. I picked it up. I was just kind of curious. Then I heard good things about this. We only find them when they're dead. This is the second print, so I picked up number 1 of that. Also, I've got the X of Swords, but I went with the Magic or Ilyana Rasputin variant. And let's see. Also, I have one of these, but they had another one, so I just picked it up. Just cause. This was at LCS in the back issues. I wanted to pick this one up. It's Spider-Woman, and I don't know, I'm just kind of on a Spider-Woman thing. And then I picked up this Darth Vader number 19. It's got Palpatine in the background, right? Isn't that him? He's Grody.
Yeah, that's definitely him.
And this is Star Wars Age of Rebellion number 1, Princess Leia. It's a variant, and it's just got like all the cool kids, all the main players from the old school Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I like it a lot. Miss Kitty wants some attention. She's a cat. I picked up Daredevil 22.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
So I'm just glad they had one copy there. So I'm glad I nabbed it. They also had this left, a copy of the Darth Vader number 5, and I don't know, I just grabbed it too. I just went a little crazy. Then I found like these in the back issues or whatever. They
Nice.
had them, yeah. So I picked up
Nice.
they had them for like 75 cents, and I was like, dude, I'm getting all of these because I almost have the full run of this, but there's some that I still want to get to just like have more of. So number 5, number 6,
I love it. It's one of my favorite covers.
number 10. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, number 6 is great. She's like punching the guy in the back while she's like texting somebody. Yeah. And then there's number 10, and then she was reading Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, like all these other Miss Marvels. And 16. And hold on, I'm just gonna. Oh wait, and this last thing. This is Avengers number 15, but it's the Captain Marvel variant, and you see her, like talking to a little girl with her cat.
That's awesome.
Fucking love it.
That's awesome.
That is so fucking cute.
That's rad right there.
I can't deal with it.
That's rad.
When you showed that earlier, I thought that before the show started, she was showing books to us. I saw that cover, I saw the kitty, and I went, oh crap, I didn't get that. It's sold out. I'm going to have to get it on eBay myself. But now it came out a long time ago, so that means I have to pay substantially more for it on eBay.
You don't know that. Well, hang on, I got more to show.
Ooh.
Okay. Secret Origins, The Golden Age Superman number 1. So, yeah, he's, I think, what is it? What did you say, Miracleman, that this is the beginning of the 3rd volume?
Yep.
And it's the best volume.
Best volume.
Yeah, I found this for cheap, but it's the one before the one. This is the Blood of the Mountain, Teen Titans number 11, whatever. And let's see, we've got, oh yeah, I love this. This is a Masters of the Universe, He-Man and Masters of the Universe, number 15. It's just a great cover, you know. It's got all these different iterations of He-Man, and I think that's pretty radical.
Love it.
Yeah. I found that they had this for cheap. So $285, Spawn $285.
Nice.
Okay, screw it. Put it in an auction or something. Oh yeah, Conan Serpent War number 1. Again, this is another one that they had for dirt cheap. And then I found also Serpent War number 3. So
nice.
It's like cool, you know.
Anything with Moon Knight in it, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Captain Marvel movie variant number 1.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yummy.
Captain Marvel movie variant number 2. Boom.
I wonder if she could have rocked the sash in the movie.
Movie variant number 3. Look how badass that is. Then I found regular number 3. And oh yeah, this is to number 5, or so this is number 5 to a different series. This is by Terry and Rachel Dodson, and it's just the detail on it is astounding. I just love their work.
I love the Dodsons. Love
they're great.
Anything they do. Great covers.
Oh yeah, I found this for a good deal. Secret Wars 11.
Very cool.
And yeah, that's it.
Nice.
And just as Super says, awesome book, Lady F.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
and coming very soon, right up next, we're going to be having Comics at Law. You know him as Ricky Ricardo Rodriguez Vacas. He has been with us on the show several times in the past, and he will be with us to discuss terrifically terrible contracts in comics. So I guess, my turn for now showing all this stuff?
Oh, yeah. Let's see it, baby.
Yeah. So I had a few larger books come in larger books in the scope that they are bigger and modern, and they're not like the old books like I usually get. I like to get a little of both, especially since I actually read most of these characters. So here we go. What's in the goddamn briefcase? And I'll switch my little cameras on over so you can take a look and see what was inside. It was a bit of a busy week today. Whoa. I'm very good at pretending things didn't happen. So I'm going to remove that. And just to let everybody know, if you ever want to be able to know where to find me, you can find me on Twitter at Rworstreport, and my Instagram is at NotNearMint. And we do know that Twitter was having some issues earlier today. So hopefully, maybe later today, you can all go and maybe subscribe over to Miracleman, Komodo 1960. So here we go. This is the first book that I wound up picking up at the shop today. Oh, what's this? He had a copy of Sentry number 4 and 5.
Nice.
Okay, I was very, very happy to find this. And the price was good. And he said, yeah, you know what? I've had this in a box for weeks and ain't nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted this. And I had issue 1 and 2. Nobody really cared about it. I didn't care about it. So I didn't pick up 3. And now 4 blew up. And for those that are kind of curious where I get my comics, his name is John Freshly, and you can find him on Instagram at Miami Fresh Comics. And he's probably going to be doing an auction or claim sale on his Instagram this Sunday at about 11 a.m. Eastern time. And if you don't find him there, check him out over at Magic City Comics on Instagram. So these are some of the others that we got here. And I'm also seeing Ricky Rodriguez in the background, so I'll try and get through these books pretty quickly. All right, let's see. Is there anybody else that wound up putting stuff? Just reviewed a ghostwriting contract today, and I wish I could share the names of the books. I really, really do. I'm curious, but you can always talk in abstracts, Mark. All right, so going through the books. I found an issue number 4. Found an issue number 5. These were right on the wall. I didn't want to do a lot of digging because, you know, the COVID and all that. And I read them. They're good. I'm kind of upset that I wasn't able to pick him up way back when because, oh my God, that the way that they leave the Sentry, I'm pretty sure he's a bad guy, but who knows now. I was able to finish off this series here. I can thank Pablo Ordone. You can find him at on Instagram at pablo.ordone, Ordone. And he has a lot of great books. He has a lot of pops, and I found most of these through him. So I read the Wraith series. This issues 1, 2, and I'm having Mr. Pablo Ordone texting me now. Hey, so I finally read this. It was mostly having to do with the Annihilation series, but in the background, he was searching for this guy with a black ring with a skull signet on it, and I'm guessing that's probably going to wind up being Null. But I don't know. I never got around to reading Annihilation. I'll get around to it one day. So here we go. The new comics that came out today. Daredevil, freaking awesome, especially if you like what happened last issue with Daredevil and Wilson Fisk teaming up to take on some baddies. Dr. Doom number 7. Holy crap. Just as I was telling Comics on the Mind, I am shocked as shit. This actually came out today.
Shocked as shit.
Shocked as shit. Look at this cover. Look at
That's a pretty cool cover.
So majestic. And yeah, just like you loved Immortal She-Hulk today, this was a great issue. It shows, much like Bruce, she's immortal, but she's not immortal. And when you read this, you'll find out why. So right behind that is the Timeless variant.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Shocked as shit.
Beautiful.
Shocked as shit. Here's Juggernaut number 1. I didn't get a chance to read this yet, but I know there's
mine didn't have any.
Mine had a huge stack. I can always go back to see. But I know there's a first appearance of a D-Cell, but I know nothing about D-Cell and Juggernaut. I wasn't going to pick it up, but when I saw that Chadwick Boseman at the top, yeah, I'm going to grab it.
Yeah.
Just happy. Speaking of which, who wants a second copy of Maestro?
I'll take it.
Okay, we got a second copy going to Lady Fantastic.
Thank you.
I haven't read it yet. I read the first
Killer,
issue.
man.
What was that?
Killer. Really well done. Really well done.
Wait,
Did you ever read Hulk
Yes.
the End?
Yes, I did. That was the Wade book with the Dale Keown art.
Yes. Remember that he kept getting devoured by these locusts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes an appearance.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, tying it in a little bit, I think. Just tying it in a little bit.
And I'm loving seeing here that Legato Blue is saying that Juggernaut was so good. If the comic community is telling me that Juggernaut was good, I'll trust you, despite the fact it feels like there's 25,000 different X-Men titles all coming out right now.
I'm gonna have to order it.
There's a lot.
I said, now I'm gonna have to order it.
Probably. It doesn't help that the X-Men Sword of Creation, or whatever the hell the name of that was today, that it's advertising part 1 of 22. I'm like, motherfucker, that's not part 1 of 20. You are not advertising a miniseries. You are advertising a whole new ongoing series there.
Right. Right. That's crazy.
This was good. I enjoyed Spider-Man number 4. This is, I'm not even going to say it's J.J. Abrams. This is his son. Nepotism, perhaps, but it's good. This issue a bit more confusing. Young Spider-Man Ben Parker is fighting an actual spider. So, yeah, I like the direction it was heading. Haven't had a chance to read issue 4 of Spider-Woman yet, but love this cover.
Great cover. Great cover.
I don't even care if it was a variant.
Right.
Now, this, I'm glad that I picked up at least one copy there because I didn't know if I was going to get one, so I just snagged one over at one of the other shops I run around to. But reprinting the full entirety of Tales of Suspense number 39, first appearance of Iron Man, and a bunch of backups where I don't think you'll ever see those characters ever again until Donny Cates wants to make people annoyed that they'll never afford that. Issue number 6, this is, I guess, the second print or third print or 25th print of all I know is it's not in CLZ. I don't know what it is about later printings of books done by Marvel and DC, but the week of release, they're never inside CLZ for the second and third and fourth and 29th prints. Venom 28 was pretty good. We now know who Virus is. We also know who Codex is. I have not read this yet. This is thick. I hope that the page count is worth it at $7. Lady Fantastic got one of the cool variants with magic. This is just a regular cover. I felt maybe the regular cover is all that's needed. And most likely, out of 22 issues, probably something's going to pop, and there's going to be a character that's going to be big, and people are going to regret not getting all 22. I'm going to be one of those idiots to get all 22. Just like I'm one of the idiots that's still getting Action Comics, despite the fact that, well, at least Bendis says he's off the book at the end of the year. Really? It can't come soon enough.
I don't hate. I'm not going to say it.
No.
I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it. I don't like to bash books I don't like. I don't like to do it.
Let's just say I'm looking forward to whoever the new writer is.
I'm looking forward to a new artist. I'm really looking forward to a new artist.
Now, something I'm not looking forward to is Batgirl ending with issue. This was such a good series, and unfortunately, many series are being axed from DC, as we all know, and this is one of them.
That issue 50's got a Killer Dodson cover coming, though.
Oh, I can't wait.
Really good.
And Miracleman, you're getting a secondary copy of this because I didn't know if I'd be getting this copy from my shop. I know I put it on my poll, but I'm never sure on these Batmans. So I grabbed it at another shop, so I wound up having two. Mr. Zero in Batman Beyond Future. Mr. Freeze, really, yeah. I had to pick it up. I had to make sure I got it. And then I overgot it, and I don't like having doubles. This was good.
Doubles.
Yes, Lady Fantastic can have all my doubles. And just like Miracleman said, this, while it doesn't have any first appearances, is probably not going to be the hot book of the week. It was a solid read. I do recommend this, especially if you're reading the series. Doesn't advance the story too much. You could probably just skip right on over to issue number 4, but this helps. You feel better after reading it. It does tell me that I should read issue 762, but let's face it, I haven't read the first 89 issues really, or from 7 whatever that you picked it up. Sorry, Flashpoint.
Flash has been good, man. I gotta say it's been good.
One day I'm going to just blow right through it. I'll just say, next hurricane that blows on through Miami. Please, if there is a God, do not tell me that there is a hurricane coming. Not with this group. So, yes, Shazam 15. I got the regular cover. I got the other cover, all in the hopes that it was Jeff Johns. Elias was not Jeff Johns.
It was kind of a bummer, man. That was kind of a bummer.
Quite. Now, here's another bummer, because from what I heard, this was a great series. It ends at issue 9, Death of Deadshot. They advertised the hell out of it. It's kind of like Death of Superman. You know it was coming. But I picked up 2 copies, so I don't know if somebody else needs a copy.
The series isn't ending. It's still going. I think it's going to issue 12 before that. It is going to end, but this isn't the final issue.
Okay. Do either of you need a copy?
I grabbed one. I'm good. Thank you, though.
All right. Lady Fantastic or Mind Shift?
No.
I'm not collecting this series, but thank you, though.
Well, now I have doubles.
Death of Deadshot, man. Like next month might be a money book. Who knows?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Savage Dragon.
Here's your Savage Dragon 252 that I'm collecting for you. But I love that red cover.
That's cool, isn't it, man?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Cool.
And because I didn't get the first print, I wound up at least ordering the second print.
Very cool.
I don't know if that was worth it or not, but I have a whole bunch of Spawn from like the last 30, 40 issues or so I might as well.
It's a cool cover either way.
Yeah.
It's only $2.99. It's the cheapest thing that I bought today.
There you go.
Hey, okay, never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
So Undiscovered Country number 8, I have to catch up on this badly. And the last book is an indie free comic day. We Are Humanoids, featuring the Incal. This is a Mark Waid book. I know nothing about it, but I look forward to digging into it possibly this weekend. Now, we have a special guest who is here with us in the background. So what we're going to be discussing tonight is terrifically terrible contracts in comics. So the gentleman who will be joining us tonight, please welcome Ricardo Rodriguez-Vacas.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
everybody.
We are terrific.
Thanks for having me. Disclaimer, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I can fake it till I make it.
Ricky, I'm going to be honest with you. None of us know what the hell we're going to talk about any Wednesday.
I bet Mr. Miracle
throw this together, and then at the last minute we go, okay, does anybody have any books we can pull? Yeah, we have a couple things here. Has anybody researched anything? What? We ain't researched shit.
No, because
Search.
but I guess it's a good baptism by fire for me with my new branded name, Comics at Law. You know, trying to focus, and what better subject matter and issues to talk about than, I guess, legal issues in the industry. The problem is there's so many angles about legal contracts in comics, whether it's buying at the shop all the way to complex intellectual property matters between publishers and artists and everything. And so it's very interesting, so it's completely, and it's an abyss. It's never ending. So we'll hit whatever you guys want to talk about. We can maybe, hit different angles, and maybe I can give an opinion or deepen our knowledge on the issue.
Well, for those people at home that aren't aware, the gentleman before us is an attorney, so we're not going to bombard him with questions. But one thing that we are going to put out there is that many different comic book companies in the past have wound up really taking advantage of the creator, many of whom are you, the viewer watching at home right now, that are trying to put a comic together or might hope to work in the industry one day. Well, Miracleman earlier today was discussing with me a comic book company by the name of Comico that led into what's being done right now with Terrific Productions Limited. And there's a gentleman that's been working in the industry a very long time, and I think maybe I should hand it on over to Miracleman to maybe lay the groundwork on what we're discussing tonight.
Sure.
So, Ricky, I first off, thank you so much for joining us. And I wanted to say, we're going to put your legal chops to the test today, I think, my friend. And the reason I say that, the only reason I say that is wait till you hear what I've got to tell you. So here's a quick version. First of all, go ahead, Ricky. You were going to say something.
Well, I don't do intellectual property or deep or complex contract law. I usually do drama law or the people's court law. I do like problems between people, civil law, basic immigration, and drama, divorce, and family law. But of course, I've done little business, some business stuff.
I have a feeling.
And
I have a feeling you are going to be better. I have a feeling you're going to be better at this than the people they hired to write this. That's I'm telling you that. I think I'm better at it, and I have never been a lawyer. Okay.
Yeah.
So Rob kind of set it up there, right? It's actually Comico, as I've always pronounced it myself, is actually pronounced Comico.
I did not know that.
Most people don't. Comico was.
This looks like a bar exam question on the. That you put on the screenshot.
So that was a contract that actually exists, but go on, Miracleman, explain away.
So I'm going to give you the quick backstory. Comico was a comic book publisher in the 80s, started in 1982 in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Back then in the 80s, people were blowing up with publishers. There was First, there was Eclipse, there was just comic publishers popping up all over the place because they were learning to take advantage of the direct market. And Comico is one of them. Comico had a lot of really great indie properties that went on to become kind of big stuff. There we go, Andrew Rev. They went through a restructuring at one. Well, let me back up. I'm sorry. So a lot of really big properties of the 80s. Some of those properties being Mage and Grendel from Matt Wagner, Elementals from Bill Willingham, were probably all their biggest books. They had Robotech, which when they got the Robotech license, they were putting out a Robotech book every 2 weeks. There was a new Robotech on the shelves. I think they had 3 or 4 titles going on once. So they were a player. They were a big player in the 80s. They started off in black and white. They did the switch to color. About 10 years later, and I want to say about 92, maybe it was a little bit later than that, Comico went through some tough times, and they did a bankruptcy. And in that bankruptcy, coming out of that bankruptcy, the new publisher, the company was sold to a gentleman by the name of Andrew Rev. I'm not going to get into supposition, but that's what we know for a fact.
Okay.
And within a couple of very short years, well, right when he bought it, everybody was fired. The whole company was fired, and all new people were brought in. Which that happens. That happens.
So at this point in time, Rev is the owner of all the intellectual property that he lawfully acquired through the bankruptcy.
Right. Okay. Now, most of that intellectual property is ownership of 50%. because the creators owned half, Comico would own the other half.
According to whatever agreement they had in that contract at that time.
Bingo.
Okay.
Bingo.
Okay.
Bingo. All right. So Comico goes bankrupt again within a couple of years. I don't even think a couple of years. I think like within a year he bankrupts it again.
Okay.
And this time, I'm going to put up a link here in just a moment to show you guys something. But at this time, there was reports of shenanigans. Batman Grendel crossover Comico and DC Comics did was tied up for a very long time because Comico was dealing with their bankruptcy issues. And when he went under, yeah, they do. My handle is Miracleman. Trust me, I know. When they go under, I'm sorry, let me back up. He has these bankruptcy issues. Comico's co-publishing deal, Batman Grendel, gets pushed back. Takes 2 years to come out until DC just decides to absorb the costs and pay to publish the book and put the Batman Grendel crossover out. There's reports at the time of Matt Wagner not getting paid for work he did for Comico. In fact, in one of the later books that he did with the inker on that Batman Grendel, the inker draws a little cartoon in the margins that is him drawing Batman Grendel, and it's Matt Wagner standing behind him screaming on the phone at Andrew Rev about how he has to pay him for the work he's already done.
This is before bankruptcy?
This was before the bankruptcy happened.
Okay. So
now we didn't find out about this till a little bit later, but
okay.
that was supposedly going on. And since there's been all kinds of stories, original artist work was supposed to be returned. Apparently, it was all stolen from the office and showed up in auctions by dribs and drabs over the years on eBay and Heritage and places like that. Long story short, he kind of disappears from view for a while. Fast forward, this Andrew Rev gentleman.
Rev disappears
from comics.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't disappear from the earth. He just disappears from comics.
Right.
No Carol Baskins happened to him. He just wasn't around for a little bit. So he pops up beginning of last year.
Okay.
With a new social media account called Terrific Productions LLC. Now he immediately started catching people's attentions. The sheriff raid. Oh yes, Jim, you're right. Let me back this up.
What about that?
Before I get to this modern stuff,
this should be on Netflix.
This should be. Tony Akins. Tony Akins is an artist. He did a book called Red Dragon. Rob, can you look that up? You've heard of that? Rob, can you look that up real quick so we can show people that cover? Azzarello wrote it. A very young Brian Azzarello wrote it. And Red Dragon was supposed to be the launch title to the new Comico after Rev bought it, but one issue came out and the rest, they went bankrupt. I
think you've shown Red Dragon before, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah.
I just bought it recently in the last this year. Just type in Red Dragon Comico. It should come up.
Yeah. I've seen you show it.
So Tony Akins did a blog spot. It's published in 2007, and I wish I had the link here. Let me see if I can try and find it, and I'll text it to Rob to put it up. But short version is Tony has a blog post on his blog from 2007, and the title of it is "This is what happens when you work for a cocksucker." Okay. Now,
oh wow.
Clearly he did not like him. But what he says is essentially that Rev screwed everything up. No matter how much he tried to explain to him the way things worked, it was screwed up. And he posts this whole thing. He puts a whole bunch of the artwork from the second and third issues of Red Dragon that he had. And at the bottom, there's some questions that get asked. And his response on one of the questions is, I do consider grafting together the remains of the series. Much to my regret, most of the original, all the original art for issues 2 to 3 was lost when Rev fucked off when the sheriff's department raided the Comico offices.
Why were they raided?
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know that. There's Red Dragon. Look at that badass cover right there, man. That's Simon Bisley. Okay. It's just an awesome freaking cover. All right. Got shades of Kirby. It's a great cover. Anyway, I'm gonna send you this. I'm gonna send you this link, if you want to check out this. We'll get Rob to pop it up here real quick. If you want to check this out, I'm sending it to you in the chat, Rob. I couldn't for whatever reason I couldn't get it to come up on my laptop. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at, circa 1992, I guess it was. Fast forward to about a year ago. All of a sudden, this guy shows up with social media, and he catches people's attention because he's doing really weird stuff. He has Stan Lee's signature as the header on his Twitter account. He signs everything off by saying Excelsior.
Well,
He
I
attempts
that.
Remember that?
Like enough said, Excelsior at the end of every post.
He was trying to.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. He was trying to do Lee's bombastic exposition, and he was doing it poorly, but he was doing Lee's bombastic exposition. And people started getting kind of irritated with him because it at first kind of seemed like he was misrepresenting himself as to having something to do with Stan Lee.
Okay.
Then we find out Rob Liefeld has nothing to do with Andrew Rev. But Andrew Rev, former publisher of Comico, and the guy who suddenly has this weird Twitter account called Terrific Productions LLC, starts doing all this weird stuff with Stan Lee stuff. He's trying to use it, kind of seeming like he's trying to use his name. And we find out.
Appropriating it, maybe.
Yes, appropriating.
Allegedly appropriation.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we find out all of a sudden that Rob Liefeld has not lost control of his awesome entertainment stable of characters, which includes Supreme, Youngblood, Troll. It seems that the 50%, apparently at one point in time, Rob split 50%. He owned half of those characters, and another investor owned the other half. And the investor fell on hard times and sold his half to Andrew Rev, who then goes to Rob Liefeld and goes, "We want to make these comics. Come work for us." And Rob goes, "No, dude, you're crazy. I'm not dealing with you."
But there's still at this point 50%, 50%.
Yes.
For example,
Yes.
Supreme, for example, is 50% Liefeld, and then the other one's okay.
Yes, sir. That's correct. So Terrific Production starts talking about how they're going to put out comics. This time next year, we're going to see a whole bunch of comics from them. They even registered a Comico. They re-registered Comico.com. They said they're going to bring Elementals back. Because we started hearing stories about how he kind of harassed Bill Willingham into walking away from Elementals. And he took Elementals. And we hear stories about how he tried to steal Mage and Grendel from Matt Wagner. Now, he got Mage back right away. Got Grendel back right away. It took him a couple years to get Mage back. But he did eventually get him back. And a couple months go by, and we start suddenly hearing these stories on Twitter about artists who've been approached by an editor.
Maybe.
Not by Rev, by an editor saying they work for Rev.
Oh, okay. One of his new employees or whatever.
One of his employees comes up and says, "Hey, we'd like you to draw some comics for us. Here, sign this contract. The contract looks great. They're going to all these overseas artists, Philippines, South America.
Work for hire, right?
Work for hire. Hey, here's a great contract. Sign it." They sign the contract. These guys get to work. They're really stoked. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have yet to see a single piece of artwork that was not done by incredibly talented artists. Beautiful pieces. And any of you guys who are in the chat right now, if you're watching the show, I just want to let you know you have some beautiful work. You might have been burned by Rev, but just getting it out there in the world, man, you guys are going to get calls. Trust me.
Yeah.
You guys do great work.
Hopefully they didn't sign any contracts that sold their souls to the devil when they have.
Well, here's what they do.
Clauses, and that's what apparently you do when you're a pretend. Let me just. This is an aspect of the law, if I'm I don't want to offend anybody. Let me just pick a random. If I had a globe, I would spin it and pick a country, not to offend anybody. Pretend I'm a wonderful artist in the Philippines, right? And then I get approached. I have my blog, and then I understand if I have a great opportunity,
right?
I'm gonna sign myself. The problem is, what do I sign? That's why anybody go in a contract, you gotta look at what you sign. But it's what you're saying, you know, work for hire. You might not even own any of the rights to your work.
That's true. That's true. But you know what the real problem is here? After they sign this great contract and these guys get to work and send their art. So I'm not dropping names, Jim, just because I'm trying to be a little careful. But you know, people can check the chat. There's some folks there giving some additional details.
Yeah.
But here's what happens according to the artists that have come forward. They start sending in work, and that's awesome, terrific. They start sending in work, and all of a sudden, Mr. Rev comes along and goes, "Oh, this is great work. Unfortunately, this contract you signed, not valid. It didn't come from our domain name. So we love your work. We're gonna buy this work from you, but we need to renegotiate your contract." Now, we have a copy of the purported contract here that Rob's going to show in a little while. But I'm going to bring your attention to two specific pieces. Number one, it's a clause all the way at the end of the new contract that says you will only be paid 50% of what you're owed until 90% of North America has been inoculated from COVID-19.
Wow.
Another clause in there says
half of us here probably won't get the vaccine.
Right.
More. So
well, when you see it, it's so badly worded. How many of the 90%? 90% of what? 90% of everybody? 90% of the people who can take a vaccine?
Right.
Are you including Mexico in North America, or is that going to count as Central America? There's no definition.
Yeah. Then you would just go to, then you get the lawyers fighting over what's what's vague or over broad, but at that time, the artist is screwed,
right?
Because the other guy is just running around with the work. But
here's the second part that's weird
with contract law.
Here's the second part that's weird. Now, if you do contract law, I don't do that, but I'm willing to bet there's a rule of thumb that if you need a 3-page FAQ section to explain the contract, your contract is not clear enough. Would that be arguably?
There's some contracts that are probably this thick.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. This is a 2-page contract that has 3 pages FAQ.
Yeah, well, I'm not an attorney, and I need to make that very clear. I am just a court reporter, but from what I witnessed through many depositions, they need to clarify definitions for many terms just so that you can understand what everything is. They can obfuscate as much as they want, but as long as they can define what this means in relation to something else, they can have that 3-page be 3,000 if they wanted to, with like a 3-page actual contract.
Right. Jeez. Right. Rob, why don't you pop up that contract real quick?
Here we go. Oh, boy.
So now the first part here, this is actually the FAQ. Okay. Now, this is kind of like a negotiation, or I'm sorry, this is not the FAQ. This is the negotiation. The next is the FAQ. Yeah. There's an FAQ that's as long as the contract. And it's only like a 3-page contract. 1 year and 2 months, 0 comics. Contract for 5 years. You guys a license for 5 years. So anyway, if you lead up right up there, we can't accept the contract that you got in 2019 because our rates are very different because of the death of floppies. That's completely made up. No such. How many floppies did we show here tonight, ladies and gentlemen? And we don't do 22-page comics because they're all 20 pages. And we do graphic novels first because of the death of floppies. So right there in the first paragraph is 2 clear, bald-faced, just made up, pulled out of my ass statements.
I wonder who wrote this.
I think Andrew Rev. If you read his tweets, these make about as much sense. The payment process for graphic novels is 50% upfront and extra money at the end of the graphic novel. Of the graphic novel, with the remainder paid by a 20% of net profits of the graphic novel, which is actually spelled graphic novel.
Cool.
That's a weird sentence, right?
Yeah.
That's a weird sentence.
So from the business, whether this applies to anybody here on any side, whether you're somebody selling your services or buying a product or selling it, a poorly written contract on either side, is guaranteeing a problem in the future, whether you're going to get sued or you're going to have a bad business deal or something. So we're all seeing a clear example of something that's going to go wrong in the future, or already has. I don't know.
All right. So, here's the next sentence. And this one, I mean, if anybody can make sense of this, please explain it to me. But here's what it says. Unlike in Floppy's terrific production, where we get paid 3 to 4 months after we pay for 20 pages with graphic novels, we do not have the cash flow to pay the entire book before we are paid.
So is this like a pay when paid clause or something?
So what I think he's trying to say is, we don't get paid till 3 to 4 months after we get it. So we have to put out the money first, and we don't have the cash. I think that's what he's trying to say, but the sentence isn't even a sentence.
So depending, I'm only licensed. Disclaimer: I'm not giving legal advice.
Right.
What is this? Is this informational and opinion
based, not legal analysis.
And I'm only licensed in the state of Florida and in Washington D.C. Okay.
All right. Luckily, you're reading this in Florida, so you're good.
Yeah. But I don't know where this contract is from. But yeah.
I'm joking.
Neptune.
Did he just say Ty Beard? Mark
What
Whipple. Did you just say Ty Beard? I'm sorry. Holy shit. You are the Mark Whipple I thought you were. Okay, sorry. I'll explain Ty Beard another time. Sorry about it. Ty Beard is the laughing stock of like the law world on multiple continents. But I'm sorry.
Nice.
Go ahead.
But you can have I've dealt with, because also we have a family construction company, and then and then apart from the law, and then there are certain instances where I don't know in this case, but you I mean, unfortunately, and it's a bad thing if you were waiting for money, but you can have pay when paid clauses, meaning I'm only going to pay you as a sub if. Now I don't know how it applies here. When I get paid, it's very difficult because, for example, we've done public projects, and unless you don't get paid by the government, then you're not gonna pay your subs. But that's a very, very violent and difficult clause to deal with. You got to have the capital to be able to keep operating. I don't know what this contract entails, but it is kind of very overbearing for a brand new up and coming artist to have to deal with something like that, if it is indeed a pay when paid clause, And once again, right. I don't know what the laws of that state are. But yeah, be careful with these clauses.
Yeah, it's so this is really, I mean, this here is kind of a negotiation piece of it. Let's scroll down. The next page is the FAQ. So you see, this is his communication with the people. So this is the FAQ that he provides for his contracts. And some of it is just absolute insanity. So right here's your first page. How much will I?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was going to ask, and every time when we're analyzing this, it would be great to know. I don't know. I mean, I've researched similar things, curious. Oh, how much does an inker? I researched these. How much does an inker make or a penciler make? I'm not a great artist, but I was just wondering, curious the other day. But it's always interesting to see what is the normal standard industry practice to see what publishers pay their, or their contracts if you have, so you can compare, more or less see what the fair market rate is. And so we're looking at this, but so keep in mind, everybody in the audience and everybody on the panel. Right. It's always good to know your market, not just listen to one voice, but be smart and try to compare, so you're not getting ripped off or being abused. And that's basic knowledge without being a fancy lawyer or anything. Just gotta not shop around, but be aware what the going rate is and how other contracts are worded and how your colleagues are getting paid or what's going on, if you can get that information. So I was just curious when I see these numbers, if they fall in line or they're kind of shady or weird, off the bat.
Right. Well, the numbers, you know what, Rob, if you can go to page number 4 there, it's image 2535. Let me show you. This is the royalty page. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you right off the bat. Okay. First 10,000 copies sold, no royalty. Now, I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
Titles we're talking about is a relaunch Youngblood, and a Supreme book.
Oh wow, they're relaunching Youngblood.
Well,
No.
there's a bunch of art floating around on Twitter right now from artists who weren't paid that drew some Youngblood stuff. Sure does, doesn't it, Mark? That's what a lot of people were saying. So anyway, first 10,000. So now I'm going to tell you right now, the last Youngblood that was published by Image didn't crack 9,000 copies.
So there you go, no royalty.
So he's counting on no royalties to most of these artists. All right. Yeah, right, Legato. So the calculations are based on net wholesale revenue of sold copies, non-returnable for each individual floppy serialized comic, not the aggregate sales of that one individual comic book issue. The net wholesale revenue will have subtracted the costs for special covers and royalties to variant and celebrity cover artists that might artificially increase sales unrelated to the primary penciler and inker and colorist. Now, listen, I have no doubt contracts have legalese, but this is confusing as hell.
Yeah. We would have to spend 5 hours maybe on this, but I did, once ago, this is the industry I should have gotten before divorce, drama, and civil litigation BS. I should have been a contract, transactional, copyright, intellectual property attorney. Would have been wonderful dealing with artists because I'm an artist, but I didn't. But now we got to deal with this. But I did, bridging from that, I did see once, I was curious about that, and for artists. And you always have to be careful when you negotiate these contracts. I read one about they always sneak in that net because you mentioned net popped out.
Yeah.
And when you negotiate, it's always very important to distinguish what between gross and net, because obviously they get you if you're not on the publisher side or the upper hand. If you can get a gross, it's always better to get a gross sales percentage. Right. But you got to be a badass to try to get that, but they always screw you with that net. That's why I wanted that word popped out in there, among the other horrible words and confusing words in there.
Well, here's
anybody they.
This is the joke my dad used to do. Okay, you want to know the difference between gross and net? You see all this? That's the gross. You want to see the net? There's the net. Here.
There you go.
What? Where's the rest of this shit?
But once again, remember, if you're a young, new, and up and coming artist, you're gonna have to, I mean, that's up to you whether how strong you negotiate or whatnot. But this, unfortunately, is a bad deal. On top of it, it probably would be a bad deal if you were with Marvel or DC because you're new and you're going to get screwed anyways by a huge corporation. But in this case, at least with Marvel and DC, you think at least you would be dealing with more serious people. In this case, it's just a total train wreck. You're going to have a bad outcome no matter what, So, and then I don't know, unless you get picked up, by other bigger companies, assuming there's not non-compete or whatever clauses out there. This is, you got to be careful with contracts like these.
Oh God!
I don't. There's an exclusive contract. He wants everybody to sign 2-year contracts.
Okay, 2-year contract.
2-year exclusive contracts. So there's your non-compete for the 2 years. But after that, anything. But now here's the parts that really stand out here. Royalties will cease in the event that a comic series is terminated by the recipient before the project or series is completed.
Royalties will cease. Okay, so they'll stop payment. Okay, if in the event that series is terminated by the recipient.
So let's say they stop buying the book. They're like, "Oh, there's not enough books to pay for this." Okay. Right? Yeah. So the key series is canceled. Royalties are canceled. The series didn't finish. It was supposed to go 12 issues. It only went 11 issues. It only went 10 issues. Royalties are canceled. The next sentence is payment of royalties will be made after the entire series completed over the course of 36 months for the initial sales, and as long as the recipient is an active artist for the discloser, or a hiatus or exception is agreed to by the discloser. So he's saying he's paying it out over the course of 36 months after the series ends, but only if the series goes to completion and is not canceled prior to completion, without spelling out what the completion is. Is everything going to be an ongoing series, and then anything that's canceled, that's it? You don't get paid any royalties? Is everything going to be a mini series? There's no definition here.
So yeah, so obviously you look to the case law or the statutes, first of all, or the contract law of the state, wherever this is at. But this is obviously a very broad and ambiguous and vague, open-ended,
very much so,
written contract with terms that are completely not clear. So that is obviously, ripe for litigation right there. Because I mean, just off the top, I haven't researched this, but people try to be very fancy and write legalese, but if you get too high up there in the clouds, although you might think you're acting like an intellectual, it's probably very, very, very impractical and very bad, because it's probably going to lead to confusion and litigation and problems. So this, I don't understand it. A layperson doesn't understand it. I mean, you want contracts to be as clear as possible and for people to understand. We have many people here, they have no clue what the hell this means. This is a big problem right here.
We also have somebody said Ty Beard earlier. That's Mark Whipple. Mark is a fellow traveler on the Threadnought. The Threadnought is a several hundred tweet long thread from one Greg Doucette, who is a lawyer out of North Carolina, currently doing the anti-police brutality thread. Over 1,000 documented instances of police brutality.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, it's a terrifying thing to see. But Mark was a fellow traveler on the Threadnought with me, which was in regards to a lawsuit for the, as we like to call him, the R. Kelly of voice acting, and Vic Mignogna, and drip, 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 and he basically he tried to sue some people who came forward with some stuff on him, Me Too stuff, and there was a lot of lolatry, and so we all got together and laughed about that. Anyway,
cool. The thread is about like police brutality, or
so the current thread from Greg Doucette. He's doing one on police brutality right now. If you're on Twitter, everybody, I highly recommend you follow Greg.
I used to be involved in, not to digress, I used to be super active, but I got burnt out with it. With photography is not a crime. Talking about abuses of filming in public, that has to do with artists, and then when police tell you, you're not supposed to film, or public rights to photography or video filming, cops and government officials, and it was a big deal. But and then obviously that tied into police. They don't want you filming them. So that used to be big into that. A guy named Carlos Miller. Photography is not a crime. But that also ties in to all of this, to intellectual property, filming, rights, and all that. But that's very interesting. Thanks for mentioning. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. So Rob, if you can bring that up again one more time, I just want to show that last clause in the contract. If you can go, I think it's the last page. Here's the one that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you right now. I'm not. I say it a million times. I'm not a lawyer, but look at that friggin' thing, man.
Employment disclosure. A disclosure. Sorry.
I haven't even gotten into this page because just trying to look at it hurts my eyes.
So work for hire. So he's done. Work for hire. 20 pages published. Okay.
It does say at the bottom, royalty for the entire team, comic artists, will be after 10,000 copies, based a % per net sales revenue minus any advance. Jesus Christ. Paid the disclosure, divided amongst the writer and comic penciler and inker and cover artist, colorist, letterer, as well as variant. So all royalties are divided up amongst the whole team based on, from what we've seen, the sole discretion of the publisher, how it's divided. Because
So the terms are right. The terms have to be clear in a contract. You have offer acceptance and all of that. But here we don't even know the. Well, I guess they're talking about a percentage. There you go. Mark Whipple says it isn't. Photography is not a crime. Good job. Yeah. Google it. Pinac. But yeah, it's hard to read, the small font, but yes.
The next page is the most egregiously horrific clause in the whole thing, in my humble opinion.
Right.
Rob, if you can go to that next page for us there, real quick. This is the one that I really want to call out. It's number 7. Number 7 states special COVID-19 terms.
Nice. That's right.
Okay. COVID clauses, ladies and gentlemen. If 2020 didn't suck quite enough, now you got to look for COVID clauses in your contracts. Special COVID-19 terms, the recipient will continue to get 50% of the page rate until COVID-19 has a 90% vaccination for the general population of the United States and Canada, not North America, so it's United States and Canada. Or 2,500 direct comic retailer stores in the United States and Canada are open full-time for business. Now, here's the thing. I know for a fact that there's about 3,200 shops in the U.S. in North America, 3,200 to 3,400 shops in North America.
And how do you measure this? Oh, because they know who they sell to, obviously, and they can. Okay.
Well, they don't, but Diamond Distributors does.
Right.
But the problem is he's not calling out how you're going to figure out 25 are open, and what counts as 2,500 being open full time for business. That sounds right to me, Mark. They're not calling this out. They're not making these terms clear. Where are we getting this information? What counts as full time? Is it open, 60 hours a week? Is it open pre-COVID hours? Because a lot of people are open, post-COVID hours.
Yeah.
They have shorter hours, but they're open full time. It's just shorter hours. We're not in the world where every grocery store is open 24 hours anymore.
You're gonna yeah.
So who's going to define that term? But either way, until 90% of the population receives a vaccine, you're only going to get 50% of your money. That could be years away.
This guy will be bankrupt again when that happens, and then they won't get anything.
That's the plan. I guarantee that's the plan. That's the plan. So this is the worst part of this. And again, listen, I'm going to tell everybody right off the bat.
Yeah.
This is all stuff that's floating around social media. The publisher, Andrew, I'll tell you what, man, he's just, if you think these are written confusingly, try to read a tweet from him.
Mm-hmm.
It's 280 characters, and it could make you want to take a shot.
I haven't read any of the other clauses on this, but in case this would ever go before a judge or whatever, you could honestly strike out whatever clauses would be completely irrelevant or unenforceable, and then it might backfire on this Rev. But then again, do these Rev is banking, or assuming it's Rev, is banking on the people who aren't getting paid to have the thousands of dollars to hire an attorney, to sue him. So he knows he has the upper hand. And I don't even know if there's an alternative dispute resolution clause or there's a bunch of other things on this. But he's somebody who's writing this, it's kind of shady, obviously, but a lot of shady people abuse contractors, and it is contractors. I think Mark was saying that they're not employees; they're actually independent contractors, probably.
Right.
So they have less rights, depending, obviously, again, on the state rights. Every state is different. Some states give more rights to workers than others. But that's also important. Remember what state you're in and what laws apply to you. But but yeah, this contract is is a big problem. If depending on where you are, maybe half of this contract would be unenforceable.
Right.
And then depending on the judge, you guys, because I guess it's like a lottery. It's not.
Right.
I got to be very careful because we can get in trouble for criticizing the judiciary. Because or other fellow attorneys, so we have to be defend the image. I kind of have an issue with freedom of speech on that limitation here in the Florida bar. Very strict. But if you got a judge that's sympathetic to the contractor, assuming he's within the law, if they decide to apply, what's the fair market rate, okay, and they'll compare Marvel, DC, this guy might get screwed. He might not have any money to pay you, but he says, okay, nobody can agree on the terms. I'm going to agree on the, but because what I see in this contract is obviously there's no clarity, there's no proper. The terms are completely off, and then it could be completely one-sided too. We only saw a little portion of the contract, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it's unanimous here that contract is not something any of us would want to sign.
Well, from what I understand, that's the second contract. That's the one that they get after they get a good contract. They're excited. They're like, yeah, I'm making Youngblood, man. This is awesome. I'm making Supreme. And then they send in their work, and then they're handed that pile of shit.
I was trying to look for my Supreme and my Youngbloods while you were talking.
How about at least run it through a spell check?
Right.
There's something I want to bring up real quick, just to read it out for those that listen to the show instead of watch it. Mark Whipple is in the chat. He's another attorney that watches the show. Thank you for watching, Mark. So what he commented earlier was, okay, folks, straight talk from a copyright lawyer. Work for hire does not mean what you think it does. It does not do what you think it does, and nobody uses it right ever. Work for hire is only work for hire if it's two things. So one, if it is written by an employee, contractors are not employees. Back me up, fellow attorneys. Number two, if it is a specific type of work defined in the Copyright Act, of which there are 9, and none of them are comic books.
Hey, I want to bring something up real quick here that I noticed in the chat from Jim O'Reilly. And I think Jim, you're one of the artists. If you can hear me, if you're one of the artists, I believe, on one of the books, or you were one of the artists. I don't recall. I apologize. I've run into so many new people. But he's saying he's talking to him on the phone. Now, somebody else said it earlier. Here's what happened with Rob Liefeld, the scuttlebutt, the rumor mill. Short version is he insulted Rob Liefeld. What this guy does, what Andrew Rev does, is he tells everybody who he starts trying to weave into his little web, his web of deceit and lies. He basically tries to tell everybody, I'm going to make you famous. I'm investing in you.
Right.
He's trying to do Stan Lee's, bombastic type of personality, but he's a douche, so he can't pull it off. There you go. And so he tries to do this, I'm going to make you famous, kid. And, listen, I don't always like what Rob Liefeld does. Sometimes I think his antics, that's a fucking badass cover.
Yeah.
You know why I have it, right? Because he's an attorney and I collect comics.
Yeah, with attorneys. Yeah, yep.
Behind you. Nice.
I saw it.
Nice.
Rob Liefeld is occasionally kind of a dick. In my opinion, he's basically a frat bro who never left the frat. Yeah. But listen, man, just because somebody's a dick doesn't mean they don't have the right to their creations. And
absolutely.
And I'll tell you right now, no matter how many times he irritates me, I'll say it every day until the day I die. The man deserves Youngblood and everything else that he created. They're his fucking creations.
Yes.
Fuck, look at that.
Jim O'Reilly from the comments says, Rev had the balls to try and get me to come back onto the book that I quit off of for non-payment of a Die Hard cover I did.
Wow.
Listen, y'all, I'm telling you. Go ahead.
Yeah. And this is a big problem for artists and stuff. Unless you have, depending on the statute or how the contract is written, it's very hard for somebody to pay an attorney up front. Like I don't take cases like that. I mean, I don't have a big firm. I'm a solo practitioner, right? So I don't have the capacity to do work to recover attorney fees, right? So unless in these cases, there's a bunch of conditions or you can handle that. If there is the right to attorney fees, if you win, a lot of these cases, you got to pay out of pocket, the litigation. And sometimes the cost of the litigation without attorney fees is less. I mean, it's more than what you could possibly recover on what you're owed. So these jerks, they abuse people knowing that they're not going to pay you. They're going, okay, sue me. You can't get anything. It's going to cost you more to fight this, to try to get some money. Right. And at the end, you're going to spend more. So they bank on just people going away and being quiet,
Right.
It's unfortunate. So
yeah,
you gotta really protect yourself in the contracts and read them, because if not, they will abuse you. They won't pay you, and they know you won't sue them because you don't have the money, or an attorney's not gonna take the case because they can't. They're not gonna get recover on something. So it's not a bad thing. It's just
right.
It's very dangerous.
If you go, I'm with you on that one, Bitey. If you go back real quick, Zombie Prophet there looks like he's actually literally copying tweets from our friend. If you keep going back a couple more times, they're up. He's literally copying tweets from Andrew Reb, and I'm going to read one off to you real fast here, just so you can get an idea.
Yeah.
Now, here you go. Why can? There you go. Let's face it. If #comic artists can convince you to spend $50 for a signature, how hard is it for them to convince you that 2 times a doctor's salary is slave wages? Now, this is in reference to the rates that he was paying his overseas creators. He's going to the Philippines, and listen, a lot of people go to Philippines. A lot of people go to the Philippines for artists right now. It's very inexpensive.
Oh, I used that as an example earlier on. I didn't know I hit the nail on the head.
But that's it. And a lot of people do. But what's happening is he's going there and he is counting on people not knowing. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Neil. That's what he's counting on, people not knowing. And on top of that, his rates have come out, and he was like, "Oh, these are like 2 times a doctor's salary over in their country." And then we looked up what a McDonald's meal would cost, and a per page rate would pay for 1 meal at McDonald's in the Philippines. So you're doing 20 pages.
Yeah, Mark is right if he's talking about a copyright claim for attorney fees. Now, I was just talking about contractual claims, so they're different. One could be depending on the court or jurisdiction you're in, but he's talking about federal jurisdictions, which is copyright. So yeah, there's some issues to that, but yes, you can get, and you can get damages too on that as well for copyright, depending if you will for whatever. Yeah, but yes, Mark is right.
Here we have another tweet from, this is Zombie Prophet quoting him, tweeting, "We are focused on producing our products because we know that's what you want. We are making those products that will make us stronger." What the fuck did he just say?
He hasn't made shit. Andrew Rev has made jack and shit so far, except K-Fab and fucking bullshit. Excuse my language, everybody. I get a little fired up about this. Listen, I'll tell you right now, my first hero in my life was Jack fucking Kirby, okay? Yeah. And Jack Kirby was kicked around by comic businesses like he was a nothing. The whole time he was alive, he wasn't anything to anybody until the last couple of years he was alive, which is bullshit. The man practically invented the Marvel Universe. Fuck, no offense to the man, but fuck Stan Lee, Jack Kirby created Marvel, all right?
Enough said.
Right. No offense to Stan, but fuck Stan Lee. Jack Kirby created Marvel. All right. He was treated like nothing. So I get really fired up when I see creators getting taken advantage of like this. Sometimes to the point where maybe I'm a little too fired up. I'll admit that. But this guy has not made shit yet, and this is what he does. He goes on Twitter, he talks himself up about how great he is, and he all these great comics. Meanwhile, we keep hearing from these artists, 14 months, no comics. Meanwhile, we keep hearing from these artists who've put in work, who've sent in pages, and then the guy tries to bully him into a new contract. And I mean bully him. People have screenshotted text message conversations with him. And, the back and forth, he goes from, hey, you should really figure out how to do this. You should really figure out how to do this and work with us. And then they go, well, I think you should pay us for what you should have paid us. And he goes right into, what are you, a moron? What, you don't know how famous we're going to make you? Come on, maybe I should pay you half as much. Will you do the contract for half as much? Like, it's like, Jesus, what are you doing, man?
That's the never-ending story right there.
Right.
Wow.
That happens to all of us. I mean, we have hope. Oh, if we can, just sacrifice a little bit. I'm in a good company. I'm gonna blow up, and then you're gonna do great. You're gonna see, you take it, but you're gonna make millions in a couple of years when you get discovered. Blah 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 blah. But in the meantime, you're gonna be, you might not make it because you're gonna probably enter into a panic attack or die of a heart attack while we milk you. It's gonna be. But you got to be careful. But people abuse people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And hey, real quick, I just want to. Not to Ben David, you're absolutely right. Listen, Jack was a prolific creator. With Stan, he made Silver Surfer. Without Stan, he made the Black Racer. Not the same quality of character. No doubt about it, Ben. You're right. You're right. But when people want to talk about the grandfather of Marvel, or the father of Marvel, it's Jack in my mind. It's not Steve.
We'll put it in the same way that Bill Finger was really the man that, for the most part, created Batman. Bob Kane, he created the name for it, but it was Jerry Robinson, Bill Finger, and everybody around him. This guy that was the storyteller, he just came up with a name. So it takes two to make a real creation. Sometimes quite a bit more.
Right. So yeah, please. And if anybody's mad, again, if anybody got mad about my comment about Stan, remember, please send all of your complaints to Rworst at NotNearMint.
Worst. I'm not gonna give it. But I know that Lady Fantastic is getting a little bit late. We're getting close to the midnight hour.
There she is.
Among all of us here, we all have some jobs tomorrow.
I don't know shit about law.
Yeah. Hey, neither do
Sorry,
I.
lady.
I'm a court reporter. I'm just the guy that's supposed to show up and go, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Let me get your names down right. Okay. That's all I basically do.
I've just been listening.
I'm sorry. I was really going on that. I've been fighting with this terrific guy.
Don't be sorry.
For such a long time now. He's just to the point where, like, I just want to mute him. I can't even handle him anymore.
Shut up!
Actually, that's the latest thing that happened. I didn't tell you. I'm just gonna finish one last piece of information to let you know the caliber of the individual.
Trademark. There you go.
Yeah,
that's from Mark. A trademark client for you, Mark.
Okay, go ahead and screenshot this.
There's a trademark and copyright.
So I apologize for that. But no, real quick, the guy has made his Twitter account private and now requires that you sign an NDA to be allowed to follow him on Twitter. That's the kind of fucking guy we're dealing with here. I'm serious.
Great PR for his future current company.
Please let's let Lady Fantastic do her shout out so she can go. She's exhausted.
Okay, so it's the end of the show. I want to thank everybody that has joined us tonight. And this is really a conversation that we could be having for hours. And this is one of my favorite episodes. I'm sorry that we didn't have an artist or a writer, but we had an attorney. This is my field, so I'm glad that I was able to have Ricky Ricardo Rodriguez Vacas on the show tonight. It was last minute. I'm so thankful for you coming today. But first, let's give a shout out to Lady Fantastic and let her say, I don't know, what's going on? How about promote yourself?
This Saturday on Shortbox Padawan's channel, the Saturday morning cartoon crew will be having an auction, so you guys should come out there and check it out. And I'm here every Wednesday, and Rob Worst and I shows books on the weekends. That's it.
Yes, lately we've been doing these shows on Friday nights, sometimes Saturdays, and we might pick up some books between now and then, and we'll just go on her channel and show some books. So look out on her channel for some of those. So let's see. Next up, we got.
Sorry for being so wild and crazy, but I'm gonna head out.
We have.
Hi, lady.
Hi, lady.
Thank you for coming, lady. Good night. All right, next up, let's see here. Where do we have it? Promote yourself. Why don't you go ahead? Mind Shift.
Oh, yeah. What's up, you guys? I am Mind Shift, aka Comics on the Mind. Besides this show, I do another show on Thursdays called The Teacher's Lounge, where we talk about everything from teaching, comic books, and anything else in between. You don't have to be a teacher to come join us. Just come hang out and have good conversation. We're at we come on at 9 p.m. On the East Coast, on the West Coast. So if you're on the East Coast, it's probably 12 o'clock for you. So if you're up late like I usually am, come check us out. Besides that, you can catch me on here or IG or just lurking, trying to see what's going on. But yeah, that's me.
And I just dropped in the chat for those that want to find him. Mr. Ricky Ricardo Rodriguez Vacas can be found on Instagram, and click right there at the conclusion of the show. You can jump right on over to his Instagram. Check him out if you're in Florida, Miami specifically, and you want to use an attorney. We have one right here.
Thanks.
So next up we have. Oh, go ahead.
No, is that my? Which is fine because I dress up and do silly costumes and stuff on one of my Instagram, but then I started a new one, which is Comics at Law. So I don't know which link was. Either one is fine. One's ridiculous, absurd, me dressing up, and the other one is just Comics at Law, which is focusing on my niche, which is just issues, attorney characters in comic books and legal issues in comic books. Comics at Law.
So it's all one word, comics, COMICS ATLAW. Is that right?
Yeah, Comics at Law. That's just about the law and attorneys in comic books. Yeah.
Oh, and while we're at it, thank you for Legato Blue if this is your first time watching, and also if this is the first time for anybody at home watching this, thank you for coming and watching this tonight. We do this show every single Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We've been doing it for 57 weeks, and we'll be doing it next week and the week after. So last but certainly not least, why don't you go ahead and promote yourself, Mr. Miracleman?
Well, I don't do a whole lot. I'm not on the Insta. I don't. This is the only tube type thing I do. But I am on the Twitter, and I do like to talk about comics. I post comics all the time. I like, these kind of comics. But I also like really weird, funky stuff too. I'm doing this new thing where I'm posting some shitty comics every day from my collection. And when I say shitty comics, I mean the good kind of shitty comics from my collection. So stop on by, say hi. We talk about comics. I also like to end every show with just reminding everybody that Comicsgate is a hate group filled with has-beens, never was, and the worst 4chan rejects that have ever existed on this planet. Other than that, thanks for joining us and watching the show.
Hell yes. And I am looking right now to find his name in the chat. So we have Critical Blast here. Critical Blast is doing an article, and I'm only just learning about this in the chat now as he comments. He's writing an article about what's going on with Rev and Terrific Comics and Comico. So if there's anybody out there that has a story, personal, things that have happened to them and has had a history, please reach out to Critical Blast on Instagram or Twitter. Find him and Critical Blast. Reach out to me at Not Near Mint on Instagram. And while I'm at it, how about I go ahead and promote myself? So my name is Rob Wurst. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out to this show tonight. You are the comic book community, and I thank each and every one of you who watches. We like doing this show weekly, every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. We say, rule number 1, don't die. Rule number 2, don't be a dick. And tonight, we've kind of demonstrated and laid out that if you're a dick, you're probably going to get your name thrown around in ways that you're not going to appreciate very much. Now, we don't want to say anything that is wrong or against type. And if anybody feels like we slighted them, feel free to reach out to me at Not Near Mint on Instagram or at Rob Wurst at Twitter. And I'm trying to find my name here, and I have so much crap. There you go. So
can I just
go ahead?
Can I break in there real quick? If you feel Miracleman offended you, I don't give a shit.
Sue him.
Oh, and trans rights. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm getting to that right now. So I do want to thank everybody that came here. Let's see if there's anybody else. Cough, Ace McGee. That's something else I want to say, especially in light of what happened tonight with Breonna Taylor, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, and Helen Mirren. So thank you, Ace McGee, coming out tonight, along with Do Terrific Better, Millions. Hey, Martin, good to see you, man. I miss you, man. I hope to see you in one of these live chats sometime soon. Anybody else? Jim O'Reilly, thank you for being with us on the broadcast this entire time, as well as Bitey Bunny Comics. That is new. I have not seen you here tonight, so I'm glad for you coming out. But more than anything, this is the comic community. I thank you all so much, as always, for coming to this. Again, the comic shop I go to get my books is John Freshley. The name of the shop is Max Comics. You can also look it up on Waze, W-A-Z-E, when you're going to look for stuff in Miami. It's called Frank's Comics or Max Comics, but it'll bring you to the same store. You can find him at Miami Fresh Comics. He should be doing a claim sale this Sunday at 11 a.m. Otherwise, thank you for joining us. We will be returning at 10 p.m. Eastern Time next week, and we're going to go ahead and close out the show with our usual sort of stuff here. So let me see if I can stop the camera and do everything properly this time, instead of how I opened up the show earlier tonight by completely and utterly forgetting to put the actual audio on. So I fixed that now, and here we go. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see this episode again, along with a catalog of back episodes and issues, surf on over to Not Near Mint on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Rob Wurst, Lady Fantastic, Miracleman, and Comics on the Mind will be back next week. Same time. Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Not Near Mint.